What's going on, everyone? This is Jay from Premier Gaming Entertainment, and what I wanted to bring to you is a discussion that has been on my mind for a while, and it's even though typically on this channel I do stuff that's strictly Michigan football related, from time to time I do bring up topics in general dealing with college football, and the topic that I want to talk about today is NIL. Now, I'm not the greatest, I'm not an expert on NIL. I don't know a whole lot about it, but what I wanted to, talk about is just the whole spirit of the whole thing, and overall, I wanted to know, and you can leave me comment in the comment section below about this. Basically, do you feel as though NIL will end up destroying the true nature of college football? So I'm going to get into that, as well as its impacts basically on recruiting and how that's been affected as well. But just to get started with my thoughts about it, before NIL, college kids would go to their university, obviously, as an amateur athlete. They weren't supposed to get anything as far as any endorsements, any money, any sort of stuff under the table, any presents, something as simple as buying somebody a pair of shoes or something like that. Basically, any type of kickback, any type of I can't basically describe it, but any type of present or anything like that that would help the college student was, a violation. And, I know that the spirit of it with NIL was to try and compensate the student athlete for their name and their likeness. So I know this goes back to the whole thing with the O'Bannons, as far as, hey, NCAA, these video game companies, etc., are using our name, our likeness on a video game. This is us in the video game. They're making money off of us, and we're not seeing a dime from it. But if we were to try to do it on our own, like selling our own jersey or something like that, and we got caught, that would be a huge big deal, and we'd be in violation, and blah blah blah, boo boo boo. I get it. So the spirit of NIL was to try and, I guess, bridge that gap to allow, the student athlete to be able to be compensated for themselves, be able to make money while in college legally, off of the strength of the stuff that they do through their own name and their own image. So I understand, I guess, the general spirit of what they were trying to accomplish, but it seems as though what they were trying to do and what ended up being the end result of it are two different things. And it's great. I'm glad that the student athlete is now getting an opportunity to make money at the collegiate level while they're in college off of their own back. So that's amazing. But I know that overall the things have not worked out the way that it was envisioned, I will say. So, for example, what I was looking up, each state has their own laws in regards to this. So some states offer more percentage and more ability to receive money from this than other states. So with that being said, that means that certain universities or more NIL friendly than others, and are able to have a little bit of an advantage over other states where the laws are a little bit more stricter and the money is not being able to be given out as much. So that in itself, to me, is an unfair advantage. But, deeper than that, you're seeing some of these universities that are able to offer money up front to an athlete, while other universities aren't going that route, and they're more stricter on what they do with their NIL, and because of that, you see things now being suffered as far as the whole thing with recruiting. And you're seeing now certain universities that aren't as NIL friendly as others, it's affecting them trying to get the big name recruits. The mid-tier, the lower end 3-star, low to mid 4-star recruits, things are pretty much the same. But when you start going to high-end 4-star, 5-star recruits, that's where the big money is. And we're seeing now that more and more that these high-end recruits, some of them are wanting money up front. They're going to schools not even necessarily because it's the school that they want to go to, but it's the school that is offering the most. So it just kind of is taking away from that whole, amateur athlete kind of vibe and becoming more big business more than anything else. So, we already got the transfer portal, which is almost like free agency. And now you got NIL, which is basically almost like contracts. So that's where we're going with it, and that's where it's at. I know that's not how they wanted it to be. I know more so, like, for example, I know Michigan, with the NIL that they have, they're not giving out the money up front to these guys. You come to Michigan, you do what you do, and the money will come. You got guys like Blake Corum, JJ, that they're making millions of dollars off of NIL. But, they weren't given that up front. They came to the university, they became superstars, and because of that and their potential, they were able to get these deals through NIL. But, obviously not everybody is going to be able to have those opportunities. But I just don't see things, working out the way that the NCAA thought they were going to. And if it gets worse and worse with this whole pay-to-play situation, you're just going to see certain teams being able to get the high-end players and certain universities, because either they don't have the opportunity to do that, they don't have the funding for it, or they're just not into that vein of how they do the NIL. They're never going to be able to compete because they're never going to be able to get the big players, the great players, because those players are going to go to the schools that offer the most up front. So it's a sucky situation. And we've seen instances also where, certain players are promised a certain amount of NIL money, and it's not necessarily even from the school itself. It might be from a booster. It might be from, some sort of person that has high ranking with the school itself. It could be alumni or whatever, a donor, and they say that they're going to, put in so that high-end, high-star, 5-star recruit can get their deal, and then they may back out at the last second, and that the guy comes to the place, and now all of a sudden what was promised to them is no longer on the table. Like that, what was his name? Rashada with Miami. He got there, and I think they were promising him, I think it was $8 million or $13 million or something like that. And then when he got on campus, ready to sign his, I think he even signed his letter of intent and actually had to back out of it because once he got there, he found out that the money that was promised to him was not existent. So you're going to see a lot of that stuff happening. But, I mean, I guess, it's better than how it was in the past where, wink, wink, nod, nod, guys were getting compensated in other ways. Family members, parents, all of a sudden getting jobs at the university, things of that nature, getting paid under the table, whatever the case may be. Schools have been doing this since God knows how long. They've been doing it in creative ways, and now it's a legal way of being able to get the kids in without this whole under the table scheming stuff. But it seems like it's still the wild, wild west. There's no real solid regulation on it, and it's just becoming a business. And you're going to see a lot of kids not even necessarily going to the school that they really want to go to. And that's a shame. To me, if you're going to a university, I know people roll their eyes of, about getting an education and stuff like that. And while there probably are some kids that don't really care about that, all they're there for is for the sports and athletics. It shouldn't be about the money to go to a school. There should be other determining factors that make you decide that you want to go to a university. But, unfortunately right now, where the money is at, that's what's driving college athletics right now. And I just don't like the road that it's going down. Hopefully that there's some sort of solution to find a happy medium is really what it needs to be. Something where it's not going to be like a total and complete pay for play, but not be archaic, but something in between the pay to play and earning your money through your results on the field. Some happy medium between there is hopefully where they get to, but until they get in front of this, it's just going to get worse and worse and worse. So anyways, let me know how you feel about this topic. Like I said, I'm not an expert on it, but it seems pretty problematic, especially when you dig into recruiting and you see teams losing out on recruits. You see teams having recruits flip because someone else backed up the Brinks truck and offered them money when they probably didn't even want to go to the university, but because they were offered money, they decided to take the paycheck as opposed to going to the place that they really wanted to commit to. So anyways, let me know how you feel about that in the comment section below, and just let me know how you feel about that. And anyways, definitely leave a like on the video. I really appreciate it. Thank you for watching, and have a blessed day. Peace.